It's amazing. We can actually say this now because there's actually scientific evidence that shows that the deer antler actually reverses aging.
IGF-1, not synthetic IGF-1, but natural IGF-1 has been called a miracle anti-aging molecule. And 8 months of taking it, I literally feel 10 years younger.
And we're sitting here and we're relying on all these pharmaceuticals supposedly to maintain us in a better state. Yet our homeostatic mechanisms are way off. In other words, to say that in plain English, guys, we're way off balance.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back once again to a very special edition of Red Pill News. As always, my name is ZakPaine, the corruption detector, and I am joined today by two very esteemed guests. You guys know them. You've seen them before. First of all, we have Dr. Bruce Fong. He is the medical director at Neutronics Labs and Sierra Integrative Medical Center. We also have our good friend, Ron Oliver, a renowned health and fitness coach. Dr. Fong, you're on the top. So let's start with you, sir. How are you today?
Oh, I'm doing great. It's been a great month. I have a birthday on Sunday, so
Oh,
trying to, I can't remember how old I am now because thanks to Neutronics Labs IGF-1, I feel great. And I'm gonna just make fun. I'm just gonna let people guess my age because I guess that's what goes with the territory.
hey, you can't argue with that. Can't argue with that. All right, and let's hear from you as well, Ron. It's been a minute since I've seen you, buddy. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me here again today. We're excited to be here and share with anyone who's listening how they can get their masculinity back, become everything they want to be, get those women's hormones in balance, get everybody feeling healthier and stronger. That's what desperately needed in America these days.
Yeah, I definitely agree
Oh
with
yeah.
you there. Well, listen, just in case anybody may be tuning in that is not familiar with you guys, Dr. Fong, let's go through your background just a little bit so people get to know you, and then we'll get into the subject matter. And we'll do the same with Ron as well.
Yeah, so I'm Bruce Fong. I'm the medical director at the at Neutronics Labs, as well as my own clinic, the Sierra Integrative Medical Center. I've been in practice as an osteopathic integrative physician for over 25 years now, and a big part of my practice is devoted to helping people recover from chronic injury, chronic illness, and I've got connected with Neutronics Labs. Really, we were connected through family before, but the whole point is that it's not just family. It's like, wow, the best armamentarium I had was right there in my right there in front of me, and it was just a blessing to have that. And I just want to share this with anybody I can because we literally have. With the at Neutronics Labs, especially with their original flagship product, the IGF-1, literally a fountain of youth in a bottle. And we'll talk about that later, but I just want to really share it. I'm just that enthusiastic about it.
Well, that's what you want in somebody who's going to be talking about something. So, and Ron, you, sir, you've been in the health and wellness industry for a very long time. Tell the audience about your experience.
Yeah, 35 years in the business. Absolutely love it. I got the greatest job in the world as far as I'm concerned. I get to help people get healthier and fit and live longer. In a healthy body, you live longer, right? In a sick body, you die before you should, right?
Yep.
And when I came across Neutronics Labs about 8 months ago, I was so blown away. And the reason why I was searching for this company, I didn't even know they existed, was because one of my favorite people in the world, one of my good friends and a client of mine, is Mr. Roy Jones Jr., world champion 9 times, right? So I'm working with this phenomenal boxer, and he's a great guy. And I'm just having so much fun because I'm a huge boxing fan, right? My favorite boxer of all time. So you imagine how I'm feeling working with this gladiator, right? And then when we got to discussion about his testosterone issues, which all fighters have when they retire, because they're just spent, they've just burnt it all up, right? It's all gone because they worked so hard to be a world champion. And when I suggested the supplements I was previously taking, interestingly enough, have all the ingredients of the man's edge. They did help me to a degree, nothing like this, but they were helping me, so I kept buying them. I was using them for several years. But when I gave them to Roy, 2 months on the products, zero benefit. So I was like, oh my goodness, this is devastating news for me. I've never had a client tell me that before in my whole career, taking any supplements I recommended. But he was the first one I recommend these supplements to. I was just using them myself. I hadn't recommended to anyone yet. And so made me look for something better that would help him because his body wasn't absorbing the herbs that I was absorbing. Okay.
Hmm.
And that's a whole nother conversation in itself, which we'll talk about a little more later. And so when I came across Nutronics Labs and I interviewed the owner, Mr. Rick Lentini, and I got to talk to Dr. Fong and look at all their data and the science, and I was like, wow. So immediately I have to get on these products. Rick was kind enough to send me some products to try. I was absolutely blown away within days, actually. Within 2 weeks, I was shockingly impressed. I've never experienced anything this powerful in my life. And this is, if I'm saying this is something people should pay attention to, not because I'm special, but because I was mentored by a brilliant doctor and biochemist for 12 years. I'm someone who's spent more than $600,000 on supplements in the last 25 years on myself to achieve great health. And I have a very, strict diet, and I live a very healthy lifestyle. I haven't been sick in 30 years. So what I'm telling you, when I've tried everything that's out there, all of it, except for the synthetic crap, which I would never touch, these are the most powerful, most potent, pure, bioavailable supplements I've ever seen in my life. And they're helping everyone across the board who will actually faithfully take them because of their patented natural liposome delivery system, which gets the Nutronics Labs Man's Edge directly into my bloodstream under the tongue, 98.6% absorption. Third-party lab proven, right?
Hmm.
And then when I'm taking my other favorite product, which is the new one, it's called Maximus, the one that Roy and I are taking. Most of my guys are taking this one. This is their premier, most potent IGF-1 product. You're getting it into your bloodstream in seconds. There's nothing like this in the world. People are trying to figure out how to get healthy. Man's been searching for the fountain of youth since 1200 BC. And I'm not interested in aging gracefully. So when I found out the IGF-1, not synthetic IGF-1, but natural IGF-1 has been called the miracle anti-aging molecule, that got my attention. And 8 months of taking it, I can tell you this, I literally feel 10 years younger. And I don't just mean I feel it because I feel like that. I can see it in the gym with how my body's recovering, performing. I'm literally training and performing like I'm 20 years old right now, and I'm 58.
That's pretty
Yeah,
incredible. So Dr.
he
Fong,
looks great.
Dr. Fong, obviously what Ron is describing there is something that I think a lot of men and, frankly, a lot of women would like to experience as well, because there seems to be a sort of hormonal crisis going on among both men and women. I think that it seems like men get more attention because, the idea of menopause, I think women are just kind of expected. They're going to have that hormonal period, but it's not something that they necessarily have to have. There are things that can be done. But what is the deal? What's going on with the testosterone crisis we see in men?
So to be honest with you, Zach, I mean, we got the truth is women go through menopause. It's probably the most well understood phenomena, if you will. Hate to call it phenomena. It's just something that happens because of our because we hit a critical point where the ladies don't have enough estrogen in particular. When men hit a point where we don't have enough testosterone being produced in our body, we actually go through something called andropause.
Mm-hmm.
And even more importantly, when we actually start to do the same thing with human growth hormone, we actually go through something called somatopause. It's a new term that's kind of making the rounds now. And so let me take each of those one at a time, because every one of these actually occurs to us. Because honestly, it's almost what we call aging.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost what we call that we've run out of these critical factors that keep us strong, keep our bodies more capable of recovering from injury, from harm, from illness, whatever. Let's face it, this world sucks. This world is trying to kill us, frankly.
Yeah.
You got all kinds of chemicals, you got all kinds of illnesses, and we can't even live it alone. We're playing around and trying to make them worse, but we won't go there. I'll let your viewers take whatever I can say with their own grain of salt. But the bottom line really is that everything out there is potentially fairly toxic, because it's not. We've kind of changed a lot of things the way nature and God intended it to be. So let's start with this. So probably the most critical thing, and again, why Nutronics Labs is around, is because of that andropause thing. We've all hit a certain point where we don't have enough growth hormone in our bodies. And the whole point about the Nutronics IGF-1 Plus, which is literally a deer antler extract. So deer antler. It's been known to the Chinese, ancient Chinese herbalists and natural medicine providers for in written history, at least for almost 3,000 years, probably for at least another thousand before that, with just passing it down from one person to another. And what it was always said was that deer antler is the second thing that's most often used in Chinese medicine, other than say like ginseng for the adrenals and energy. But specifically, the deer antler is added to pretty much everything when you have this remedy for, say, a cold, this remedy to help you recover from an injury, or this remedy to help detoxify you. Guess what? They always add deer antler to it because it's the thing that helps you to repair, it helps you to recover, helps you to rebalance the body, really helps to revitalize you. And that last critical part, the revitalizing, was something that the herbalists started using to maintain the health, the strength, the stamina, the strength of people as they began to age. And they even called it back then an anti-aging thing if you translate it in a certain way. So that's our IGF-1, our main product, the IGF-1 plus. So getting to the men, we spent a lot of time in research trying to figure out what's the best way to help us maintain testosterone, because just like growth hormone, guys, literally, and by the way, I don't think I said it right there, but the deer antler extract, everything that's in deer antler is basically all the compounds that you make in your body in the presence of human growth hormones. We're not really giving you growth hormone. I just want to make sure I clarify that. But on man's edge is, again, testosterone. Let's face it, guys, when our testosterone starts to run out, we don't feel not manly anymore. Now, not only do we not have as much muscle tone, and we don't feel as assertive as we used to. These are all important, but you realize, just like it's well known that in ladies, if they go through menopause, you get thinning bone, you get increased risk for cardiovascular disease. Well, same thing happens in men. The risk for heart attack and stroke goes up at that point when we hit a critical point with our testosterone. We actually see a degradation of neurologic function. Guys, I think it was a study where they were in their 60s who had low testosterone, who had memory issues. They were given testosterone. Guess what happened to their memory? Went up. If they started doing better with their memory, they started processing with their brains a little faster. So that was all part of that. Metabolically, the combination of the lack of growth hormone and the lack of testosterone in men especially, it's actually increases your risk for metabolic disorders such as pre-cancerous, pre-diabetic conditions where we actually have insulin resistance. And also because of our aging, people go, well, there's an increased risk of cancer. Why is that? Well, a lot of our ability to fight cancer in our body has to do with our immune system. So usually more so with the IGF-1 plus, the growth hormone, if you will, stand in, if you, in other words, getting all the great things for the benefits of growth hormone. There is a modulation effect specifically with insulin-like growth factor 1, which is the IGF-1 itself, the main motivator, that actually motivates that immune system to key in on things, to reduce random inflammation. There's all kinds of theories that unnecessary inflammation can lead to an increased risk for cancer. The ability for the immune system to key in on things a little more specifically can eliminate, so we say, oncogenic type motivators that can be like viruses, that could be other infections. But also, there is a key function that your immune system actually identifies and destroys potentially malignant cells before they can settle and start to reproduce. So all that's in here as well. Again, back to the testosterone. I'm sorry I keep jumping around, but I'm just so excited about all these products. I just think they're amazing. But the man's edge specifically was the culmination of years of research to find the best things that can actually bring testosterone to the forefront. And the three big rock stars in there are fenugreek, there's tribulus, and there's long jack. All three of these can increase your natural production of testosterone. And basically, the fenugreek in particular has been shown to increase the ability for your cells to use it. So again, this man's edge from Nutronics Labs is probably hands down the best natural way to bring your testosterone levels back up. And really not only do it naturally, but also to get your body to use it properly. So there's a whole functional aspect to this, and I think that's amazing. And later on, we actually improved the product by adding L-arginine and L-citrulline in, which are two amino acids that drive the production of nitric oxide. Nitric oxide provides a potent vasodilation effect in the body. It drives increased blood flow, and it means that not only is this stuff getting into your body, like Ron was talking about, through a liposomal delivery system right in your bloodstream, but we're increasing that ability of the blood to bring it to the tissues that you want that really need it. And ultimately, well, guys, erection issues tend to do with circulation. So having that on board, it's going to really help that out a lot. And again, Ron, I'm going to ask you a favor. Can you hold up your women's formula for me? This is our answer. The ladies
This
actually.
is not my personal product. I don't use this.
Yeah, I know.
Sure. This is my wife's
I don't know.
bottle.
Ron, you got a rosy appearance to your face this morning. It seems to be working. I'm kidding. But anyway, the whole point is that the IGF women's formula is a response. Well, frankly, Neutronics Labs got contacted. Ladies are going, "Hey, you guys made a man's formula. What about us?" So we went back to we call it a bunch of guys sitting around a table, a bog sat, and we started looking at stuff again. And we determined some of the major issues as women, especially as they're aging, would encounter. So all Neutronics Labs products start off with the deer antler, all the liquid stuff. Okay, and so that's always in there. With unless you're getting a pure formula like the IGF-1 plus, the amounts typically on the man's edge and the ladies formula actually start at a lower concentration, and then we add the additional elements in there. And the reason we always say, hey, we're going to add additional pure deer antlers, because then we can actually concentrate that particular effect. So specifically with the ladies formula, we now added multiple ingredients that are specific to help with problems. So number one thing you guys always mention with menopause, it's the hormones. Well, it's what causes it. At least we think that's what causes menopause. It's actually a whole bunch of different factors. But the main thing in there, to make it simple, we like that keep it simple, whatever Simon principle, is boron. Boron is a mineral that actually unlocks hormone that's locked up by something floating around in our bloodstream called sex hormone binding globulin. As we get older, actually, sex hormone binding globulin amounts increase, hormone levels decrease, and that's both men and women. And it locks up more of the hormone. And so in this case, with boron, it gets in there, actually helps to unlock that hormone that's bound up, and that we actually start to utilize it. Because obviously, physiologically, we see the effects that there's a lack of hormone, yet we've bound up quite a bit. So we're trying to unlock that, change that balance back and forth. Other things like in ladies, we have increasing urinary issues. Cranberry extract is in this. We have for bone health, vitamin D, there's calcium, there's iron in this, for obviously for the blood. We also have B vitamins in here that also will help with the neurologic system. So we try to make an all-in-one product there. But again, like the man's edge, the ladies formula that Ron was just holding up is meant to be utilized with a pure IGF-1. Again, the Neutronics Labs IGF-1 is a deer antler velvet, a whole growth matrix of the growing deer antler, not just insulin-like growth factor 1, which is what you might see out there. And I'm gonna transition this one because Ron and I've talked about this before, but we don't want to take something out of balance. This is a growth matrix that God made. It's all balanced. It's perfect. When we start monkeying around as people thinking we're smarter than that and trying to isolate one element out of that and try to use it, things get out of balance, and there could be actually some consequences. But I think Ron's has some experience with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Like what I want everybody to understand who's listening is this, you have to understand all supplements aren't created equally.
Yeah. Just
like all water is not created equal. All food is not equal. You can look at meat, you can look at vegetables, you can look at minerals. You have to understand something. There's a vast contrast between consumption and utilization. And what I'm talking about is bioavailability.
Right.
The whole purpose of consuming water and food is to feed our 30 trillion cells. It's got to get delivered into our cells so we can keep regenerating, rejuvenating, and continuing to live, right? And thriving. And unfortunately, in our modern world, the vast majority of people living right now, especially in North America, have no idea what it's supposed to feel like to be thriving in their body because they're not in homeostasis. See, disease has become normal, but it's completely unnatural. Just like aging is normal, but it's unnatural. We're not supposed to be aging like we are. Why are we the oldest looking people in the world? You go here and you look at 50 and 60 and 7-year-old people. You go to the Middle East, you go to the Eastern Bloc, you go to the Asian, countries, you go to Africa, go to Jamaica. Everybody looks years younger, decades younger than us.
Yeah.
We are not doing it right. We're consuming plenty of calories. We're consuming oftentimes plenty of beverages, but you're not going to hydrate in all these beverages. You're going to hydrate in pure water. And you're not going to get nourished with all the essential nutrients from this ridiculous fake food diet that's going on right now.
Yeah.
So all of these essential nutrients, the amino acids, the peptides, right? There's large amino acids, the small chain amino acids called peptides. You got your vitamins, your minerals, you got your essential fatty acids, you got your saccharides, you got your fiber. I don't care if you're consuming it. Are you absorbing these nutrients? Are they nourishing your cells? Okay. So we're dealing with massive malnutrition because people are not absorbing the food. And quite frankly, most of the supplements are never going to talk to you about bioavailability, because if you were to ask all the supplement companies out there, what's the bioavailability of these supplements? They're not going to want to talk about that, because the vast majority of supplements people are buying right now, they're not absorbing. Okay. And if they're doing any good, it's probably placebo. I'm just being honest.
Sure.
Okay. There's nothing out there like this, because we're getting, I'll just talk about the Cadillac product right here. This is like the Ferrari, okay? In here, in this one bottle, there's over 400 living bioavailable active ingredients. And this is the primary ingredient in all of their liquid products that you can put under your tongue, and in seconds, it's directly in your bloodstream. This is such a game changer that when I figured all this out and experienced myself, I approached this company. I had many conversations with the owner. Said, man, how are you promoting these products? I want to be involved. I want to help you get this out there. I've been watching Americans and Canadians, which is my primary market for my business as a professional coach, decline like a plane is crashing for the last 35 years since I've been in the business. And I don't like it. It bothers me a lot. And I've seen the sales of pharmaceuticals go through the roof, right? Why? I mean, come on, this is ridiculous. Why are we the most medicated people on the planet, right? Because we don't know what we're doing. Let's be honest. We don't know what we're doing. Our results are terrible. We have the lowest testosterone on the planet. We have the most women with PMS cramps and menopause on the planet. We're the most unhealthy bunch everywhere you can look, okay? And so we have to change the way we're thinking. And if you want to start today, all you have to do is understand one thing. You shouldn't trust anybody who's telling you anything until they've earned your trust. So I'm going to give you this challenge, okay? You can go to neutronicslabs.com. We're going to give you a code so you can get a deal and everything. You can get 60% off your first order. We'll explain that to you in a minute. But you can also go to my personal website. You can go to elitedynamiclife.com. You can contact me personally. And if these products don't blow your mind, call me. Contact me directly. You can contact the company, but you can call me. Why am I going to put my name out there if I'm going to make an ass of myself? These products are going to help everyone. I don't care if you're 18 or you're 98, they will help you. You know why? Because 98.6% absorption under the tongue is the same for everybody. No matter your age, your weight, your condition, how heavy you are, how short you are, it doesn't matter. How sick you might be, how healthy you might be. It's the same for everyone under the tongue, but that's not the same when you're consuming beverages and you're consuming foods. Then it's only going to be as good as the health of your gastrointestinal tract. The health of the gastrointestinal tract of Americans and Canadians is the worst on the planet. Why do you think we sell the most X-Lax and Metamucil and Miralax and all these other products? Because these two continents are the most constipated people on the planet, because they've convinced everybody to consume fake food all day long. What are we doing? We're spraying crops with numerous deadly chemicals to kill insects. And then we're going to eat it afterwards?
Yeah, it's insane.
What are we doing? We're putting water in plastic bottles. And there's between 110 to 400,000 nanoparticles of microplastics per liter sold. There's 25,000 forever chemicals in there. These things are clogging up the receptor sites that block our bodies from absorbing the hormones our bodies are trying to produce from this terrible diet, right? So now I can tell anyone today, you want to change your life in a matter of weeks so you're blown away? All you got to do is get the appropriate product for you. If you're a man, you need this, guaranteed. You need Man's Edge from Neutronics Labs. Start building up your masculinity again, naturally building your testosterone. If you're a woman, you absolutely need to get on this woman's formula right here. And if it doesn't work for you, contact me directly. And you can get 100% of your money back within 30 days, and you don't have to send this back to the company. Who gives you a deal like that, right? And then if you want to start seeing rapid repair and rejuvenation, regeneration, and healing from being sick or from being in the gym and being beat up from working out, or maybe you have a physical hard labor job, right? Maybe you're a fisherman or a trucker and you do something, a logger, whatever. These products will make your body recuperate, rejuvenate, regenerate so fast, it'll shock you. They've shocked me. And it's been at least 20 some odd years before a formulator, before a supplement company, since a chemist has impressed me. And I've looked at thousands of companies looking for the best of the best for myself, my family, my clients, right? Your health is number one, right, Zach?
Absolutely.
Health is number one. Yeah. If you have your health and if you have your fitness, if you're healthy and fit, you can accomplish absolutely anything you put your mind to if you won't give up and quit, right?
Absolutely.
But if you don't have your health, mental, physical, spiritual health, you are not going to succeed. You're not going to win. It's not possible. That's why we prepare soldiers before they go to battle. We get them healthy and fit. That's why athletes get healthy and fit before they go and compete. We are all in a human race right now. And if you not noticed, guys and gals, the world's pretty crazy. Dr. Fong is right. It sucks.
Yeah,
it sucks that the air is this toxic. It sucks that the water's this bad. It sucks that the food's all messed up. It sucks that they've been spraying the fields with poisons for decades, since longer than I've been alive. You know what I mean? So we got to take back our health. We got to do what I do. It's called self-care, because the system that we're supposed to trust ain't working, because we're getting sicker every year, not healthier, right? The diseases, have they ever come down since you've been in the business, Dr. Fong?
No, if anything, I'm watching people have less ability to fight off illness.
100%. Immune system's getting weaker.
It's just insane. Yeah, I mean, we see people, we're thinking we're so much better, especially in the Western world. We think, okay, we got the best healthcare in the world, and blah 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 blah, and we're sitting here and we're relying. And I'm reiterating what Ron said, but we're relying on all these, these pharmaceuticals and other things supposedly to maintain us in a better state. Yet our homeostatic mechanisms are way off. In other words, to say that in plain English, guys, we're way off balance, and we're using other stuff to try to maintain a abnormal balance. That's probably a good way to put it. That's why we're getting sick so easily with things we shouldn't be getting sick with. That's why we don't have the resistance we used to. That's why we have these outbreaks that shouldn't be doing what they're doing to us. And the bottom line, I'm going to reiterate what Ron said, and I kind of alluded to earlier, was yes, these things are interfering with our ability to both utilize and also to make the various hormones that we need in our bodies. The more junk we have, the more out of balance we are, the more likely we're going to be spinning in the wrong direction, so to speak, and we're going to make less and less hormones. We're going to utilize those hormones in a less efficient manner. Any of you guys who've had any experience with, looking at biochemistry and looking at metabolic pathways, you know that everything has to be lined up and balanced. So that here, if I go this way, it doesn't look right, right? If I go this way, it doesn't look right. But if I go right here, that's the way we want it. And that's where we get the maximum benefit. If you guys ever heard of the Krebs cycle, I don't mean to traumatize anybody who ever had to memorize that, because that was insane. But the whole point is that is a way that we make energy in the body. We make 38 of these things called ATP if that thing's lined up correctly. If we don't, we go down this way, well, we can make 12 this way, maybe 8 that way, or 4. But that mechanism is meant to make 38 ATP. If we're off, we don't do well. It means that we can't produce energy. That's why people who are chronically ill, I see my patients, they can't make the energy. They're always, number one symptom, I'm fatigued, I'm tired. Who out there is not fatigued and tired right now?
Sure.
You know what? It's because the world is, I'm not paranoid, but it doesn't mean the world ain't trying to take you down. Okay, well, please don't make that.
No. But it's not. It's not crazy to say, Dr. Fong. I mean, like it's obvious people have been getting steadily sicker. It's obvious that people's hormonal balance has been steadily declining. And I have seen modern medicine and doctors, rather than addressing what the underlying cause is, they just keep saying, okay, 700 for your testosterone is fine. Oh,
Right.
500 for your testosterone, that's fine. Oh, it's actually 400 for testosterone is fine. For a 21-year-old man, you're telling me that that's supposed to be okay? That's not okay.
No. Yeah, having
Well,
20-year-old guys showing up at my office saying they have erectile dysfunction scares the hell out of me. I
Yeah.
think we're going to go extinct.
Yeah.
Okay, that is a problem. As a physician, I'm telling you guys, that is wrong. Something's
hey,
wrong here.
we have the
Okay.
lowest testosterone in the world here in America. We have the lowest sperm count. What
Yep.
else do I have to say?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
We are
But hey,
barely
I got to tell you
even
something. Yeah,
multiplying anymore.
yeah, exactly. And you know what? But let me give you guys some hope. When I say that things are out of balance, the Neutronics Labs IGF-1 is the whole deer antler growth matrix is the way to rebalance it. Over
100%.
3,000 years of written history, guys. But get this, we now can even say, we used to say, hey, we can age gracefully with this, or we can minimize the effects of aging. Guess what? We can actually now say that we can reverse aging.
Do tell.
Okay. And so here you see this goofy little look like a kid on my face, because it's amazing. We can actually say this now because there's actually scientific evidence that shows that the deer antler actually reverses aging. And what we mean by that is now the researchers have looking at the deer antler as, again, guys, remember, it has to be growing antler. It can't be like the dead antlers laying on the ground. It's a growing matrix in the antler. So think about that. If you don't know this, deer lose their antlers every year and they grow a new rack in about 100 days. That's rapid growth. That is controlled growth. Deer don't grow moose antlers. Deer don't grow goat horns or something. They grow deer antler. And you hunters out there, that's what you're looking for, is those beautiful racks. And that rack is the reason it's there is because of this perfect growth matrix. The growth matrix itself actually releases through its stem cells various compounds that actually can affect the genetics of other cells. When deer antler extract was actually introduced to senescent, if you don't know what their word means, it means old, old rat bone marrow cells. Those bone marrow cells were like, yeah, I'm just going to hang around. I'm just going to produce a few blood cells here and there. They put that deer antler on. It's like, hey, you just give them an espresso. You gave them like, just a nitro boost. They start producing blood cells and other compounds just like a normal young cell did. And so the researchers can start to expand that. They notice the behavior of these older rats. And when I say that, by the way, in research in anti-aging or aging, that we actually the researchers actually breed the rats to literally grow to be old quick. When these compounds were introduced to the rats, now these are the rats that would kind of go, you know what? You guys go ahead. You go through the maze. You youngins, hey, get off my lawn. But you can go. Sorry, bad joke. But hey, go run through the maze. Find the cheese. I'll join you later. They're the old rats that sit in the corner like this, and they're kind of going. And you gave them the deer antler. They're like, you little whippersnappers, get out of my way. They went first, and they found the cheese. That was really cool. It's like, yeah, you got the old rat to find the cheese, but hey, they didn't stop there. Then we took the monkeys who were bred to be old. And or actually they were actually old. These were 18-year-old monkeys. I take it back. They were actually old monkeys. And these guys were these monkeys are unfortunately, like a lot of people are out there who have aged and they feel hopeless. They feel bad. They're sitting in the corners. They're not interacting with the rest of the I'm sorry, what's a group of monkeys called? It's not a tribe, but whatever. They're group of monkeys. I can't remember. It's not a herd. My apologies. But you guys understand what I'm saying. They're social group. They're the group that they hang out with. But the bottom line, they're not interacting with them. The other monkeys are all carrying on. They're playing or eating, and they're doing things together. And the old monkeys kind of straggle along afterwards. Get this: when the deer antler was introduced to these monkeys, the old monkeys were now competing with the alpha males for everything from food to other stuff, and trying to assert their dominance. And when the research were all said and done with all these observational studies, they actually determined, based on, I forgot the exact mechanism, but they came up with a stratification system, and they came up with the fact that basically the monkeys regressed, which means go backwards. Sorry, my camera is reverse angled here. I'm going the wrong way here. They went backwards in age. I say that again. They went backwards in age by 2.14 years over a 6-week period of using deer antler in their
Wow.
system. That is the exactly what's in Nutronics Labs IGF-1 plus. It is pure deer antler. It is extract in a liposomal delivery system that Ron is so well explained to you, that it helps to get under the tongue, right into the bloodstream. Guys, this is literally, I can literally say it now with all confidence, even as a physician, this is literally the fountain of youth in a bottle. You cannot be without this. And that it's the most important thing, not only to keep you healthy, vital, and strong, being the best that you can be, but if you're sick, if you're literally or injured, I'm literally repeating. I'm Chinese, by the way, in case you can figure it out. I can be a little redneckish. I can show you my cowboy boots, but the whole point is that. But I'm actually Chinese by descent, and I can tell you, I'm really proud of my ancestors for figuring this stuff out. Okay, because we're literally proving in modern medicine what ancient Chinese guys knew. They put in observation. They wrote down like up to 3,000 years ago, and it has stood the test of time. Think about that. What else can you say that has stood the test of time? The only thing we can think of is like salt, maybe silver. We know
Yeah.
that ancient times silver killed bad things, but you take it the wrong way, you get sick from it. Salt has its own disadvantages. I don't see any disadvantages.
Mm-mm.
This is a
There's zero.
perfectly balanced growth matrix that includes all the same growth factors you have when you have human growth hormone there. It has a lot of the supportive nutrients, amino acids, peptides. You guys are all crazy about peptides. How
Mhm.
about getting the peptides in a system that's already balanced instead of taking an individual peptide out of balance? So
And
think about
not
that.
and not made in a lab, probably in another
Exactly. It's
country.
all natural. It's
Yeah.
all natural. And it's got collagen. It's got all the, the different things that you literally need to take those growth factors and put them into action in your body. Your body starves for this stuff. I did a study way back when of just blood levels on people before and after they took the product. And literally, when they took the product, they had double, triple the level in their body for about 15 minutes. And then they went back to baseline within 15 to 30 minutes.
Mm.
Literally, your body uses it up that quickly.
Wow.
It's literally sometimes starving for the stuff. And you will be amazed at how quickly you can feel so much better. Ron, you can definitely allude to that. You get some great examples.
Absolutely. Like, I mean, at the end of the day, right, we're talking about a lack of cellular energy in our modern men and women alike, children. We have cellular toxicity at an unprecedented level in society. And I know this for a fact, so does Dr. Fong, because we look at people's blood under the microscope all the time. I've been looking at blood under the microscope of clients for 30 years. It has just become more and more and more toxic, and we're dealing with cellular malnutrition. Okay. So there's not a nutrient in this bottle of IGF-1 formula with those 400 ingredients, the 40 compounds, 18 growth factors. It's 21 amino acids, 50% amino acids. It's got all the essential peptides in here. It's 34% minerals. It has collagen, as Dr. Fong says. It has omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids. It has natural anti-inflammatories in here. How many people are suffering from inflammation? And it's even got some cognitive enhancers known as nootropics in here. There's nothing like this in the world. And that's the basis of the whole product line. And they make something for everyone, all the way from the lowest dose, which is 25,000 nanograms of the IGF-1. And it's not just IGF-1, it's all those things that come in that growth matrix, and then all those other ingredients we talked about, all the way up to 1 million. So it doesn't matter where you're starting out, how deficient you might be, there's a perfect product for you, and depending on your budget, right? And the bottom line is you're going to get the best bang for the buck using anything from Nutronics Labs. All of my clients are on it. My top clients, like world champions that are retired and all beat up and worn out from their careers, and they are bouncing back, getting their cognitive function back. They're getting the inflammation out of their bodies. They're getting their strength back. They're getting back into the gym because now they want to work out again. Roy and Joan Jr. and I were just talking about how he wants to start lifting weights again. He hasn't done that for probably 2 decades.
Wow.
You know, because he's feeling so good just being on these plugs for about 5-6 months. You know, it's literally reversing our age if you actually understand what's happening, because premature aging is a result of a lack of movement, lack of sunshine, a lack of fresh air, a lack of good water, a lack of good food, toxicity, and malnutrition, right? So you're knocking out over 400 deficiencies with this one bottle.
Incredible.
You know, it's incredible.
Great.
And you know, if you're a female, they got an awesome female formula for you. My wife absolutely loves this product. All the females I have on it, I even have men, my male clients, buying it for their wives because they've noticed such a difference in their hormone balance that they're much happier. Their wives are happier women because their hormones are in balance. When your hormones are out of balance, it doesn't matter if you're a male or a female. You're going to have issues with your emotions. You could even be depressed for no reason at all, just because your hormones are out of whack.
Keep
You might
that in
not even be
mind,
having a
guys.
bad day.
Mother's Day is this
Yeah.
weekend. So.
Oh
There you
yeah.
go.
No.
All
So
right.
we should quickly talk about the specials first.
I was just going to say, guys, we're coming up on a hard deadline. So, yeah. So, obviously, you know, from what I understand, Neutronics is like the highest potency, the highest quality. Obviously,
100%.
you have clinical data to prove what your system does. The liposomal delivery system is extremely important. Professionals, athletes are all behind it with rave reviews. And obviously, doctor endorsed Dr. Fong. So tell us, what is the offer that you have for the audience?
So, so Neutronics Labs, like I said, we totally believe in our compound so much. I'm literally, they just say, "Hey, I'm not just a spokesman. I'm actual client. I'm actually been so involved in Neutronics Labs. I mean, I'm so proud to be part of the team here that literally I've been using these compounds, and I mean, no kidding. I'm literally have a birthday on Mother's Day, and I'm sitting here, and I'll be 57 years old this year, and I have. I'm very active in my life. I've got run a clinic. I'm the medical director of a fire department. I'm the medical education director for the Osteopathic Association in my state. I'm actually the president also of a licensing board, and still I haven't gone crazy with 8 kids. So I have the ability to maintain all these things, and I give our founder Rick Lentini, number one, a great shout out. I love you, brother, for bringing this to the world, because this
100%.
literally has kept me to be able to take care of all those different things and still be out there and active, not only for our patients. And I'm actually active in my legislature. I won't get into anything political here, but the whole point is that I stand up for doctors' advocacy. I stand up for patients' rights. I'm all there. I'm all in for all these things, and the only way I could have done it is because I have the Neutronics Labs IGF-1 in there. And so anyway, we believe in the product so much that, as Ron alluded to, there's a 30-day money back guarantee, no questions asked. Keep the product. We'll give you your money back if it didn't help you. But we're going to give you something special today. So we're primarily focused on the man's edge and also on the women's formula. Ron, if you would hold that up for me just for a sec. These are the products we want you guys to focus on, because these are the ones that are helping with andropause and, of course, menopause, with the one that Ron's holding up. And more importantly, just to age in a healthy manner. Okay. But if you go on auto ship, which is where you get a subscription to a bottle a month of this stuff, you not only immediately get 50% off, but for a limited time, we'll also give you the IGF-1, our flagship product. In this particular case, it's a 300,000 nanogram strength, which is one of our stronger ones, with the addition of Long Jack, which is going to increase circulation, going to increase your ability to have stamina when you're working out, which is what we tout that particular product for. Combining these two is a really unique stack to make you feel better as quickly as possible. And of course, either the man's edge for the men and the IGF women's formula for the women. That's going to be this beautiful package that's going to bring you about a $200 savings. And because we love you, Zach, and all your viewers here at Red Pill, if you go to Neutronics Labs, that's NUTRONICS NeutronicsLabs.com, NUTRONICSLABS.com, and then /Red Pill, we get into a place where we get an extra discount. Again, if you enter Red Pill as that extra discount, there's an extra 10% off the entire order. So, guys, there's no reason not to try it. We love you guys. We want to see you be the best you can be. That's an honest and most earnest thing I can tell you. We believe in it so much that we're willing to essentially almost give you the farm a little bit to get you to try it, because we really think you're going to love it. And the compounds sell themselves. They don't really need that endorsement. Our job is to make an announcement to let you guys know it's there. When you try this stuff, you'll be convinced on your own how great these things are. And that's probably the biggest endorsement I can give it.
Excellent, excellent. Well, I really appreciate you guys stopping by. Everybody out there in the audience, if you didn't get that while Dr. Fong was saying it, also it'll have been on the screen, but you can go to the link in the description just below this video, neutronicslabs.com/red pill. That's going to give you the 10% off no matter what you buy. But if you do the auto ship, you're going to get 50% off, and you're going to get the free bonus that comes along with it. So you really can't beat it. Definitely give it a try. Thank you both for being here today. I really do appreciate it. Ron, it's great to see you again. Dr. Fong, always a pleasure to see you as well.
Always a pleasure, Zach.
All right, brothers. We'll see you next time.
Take care, brother.
All right, peace.
Peace.